Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another amazing episode on the Unleashing Potentials podcast. I'm your host, Bernadette, and joining me today is, how do I say your name?
You're not the only one. Vinaya.
Vinaya. And your
Yes.
first name?
That's my name.
Oh, okay.
That's my first name.
Okay, okay. Welcome, Vinaya. How are you?
Ah, enjoying life and yeah, just enjoying.
That's
I'm
good.
great.
That's really good. Yeah, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Pleasure.
You're welcome. Where about are you tuning in from?
Right now I'm in Peru, in the Sacred Valley, and in the town of Pisac.
Oh, okay, okay. That's
Yeah.
amazing. That's amazing. Have you always lived there?
No, I have the habit of changing country every so often. The longest I've lived in somewhere was in Ecuador for 9 years, and
Oh,
yeah, in Germany when I grew up for 20 years. But that's about it. And then a
yeah.
few years here, a few years there. It's just always where the wind sort
Hmm.
of blows.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. That's really cool. So why don't we start by you telling us who you are and what you do?
Okay, I'm always have a good laugh. Who am I? That's still a question I'm trying to figure out. I have a faint idea, but what am I doing? Okay, maybe a little history. When I was 21, I left Germany because I understood that I do not fit in any sort of box, specifically not in the German box. And there must be more to life than meets the eye. So I started overland to India, looking for something more, so to speak. And after about 7, 8 years, I found a master, and then my focus went inside. And I started to work on myself and getting rid of all them programs we all get when we arrive here on planet Earth.
Mhm.
And at the same time of actually, since I was young, I was a crystal freak and had always a little bit of a different vision of where people are at. I could see somewhat behind the veil, behind the facade we all put up. And yeah, through my love of crystals, I came to this way of connecting with people and telling them why they are here. What are their gifts? How can I empower myself?
Mhm.
What are the steps? Bringing a little bit clarity into their path.
Mhm.
And that's what I'm basically just doing now. I'm 70 years old, and the only compassion, oh no, joy I have
Mhm.
is seeing the joy in people when they suddenly realize, yeah, wait, I am perfect.
Mhm.
I am here for some reason. And these are my gifts. And yes, that feels right.
Yeah.
And that is my passion. That was the word I couldn't find before.
Yeah. 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 That's awesome.
That's what I'm doing. And I'm
Mhm.
coaching people over times or just give crystal readings
Mhm. Mhm.
to help people to be more themselves, to step out of the box,
Mhm.
to have a joyous and fantastic life instead of drudgery and like dragging myself from the cradle to the grave kind of thing and not really having fun and
Yeah.
also having this feeling inside there must be more to it and
Mhm.
I'm bigger than everybody tells me I am.
Yeah.
I'm fantastic.
Yeah.
And bringing people into that
Mhm.
space
Mhm.
is my passion, basically.
Yeah. Um, excuse me. Thank you so much for sharing. I feel that you're speaking to my soul because I was born open as a child, but I'm discovering that there is more. I'm in between.
Yes.
I'm wrestling with something that I don't understand, can't see. Let's go back to you though. Can you tell us when did you come out of the closet, meaning sharing your gifts? Were you born psychic or developed at a later time?
I would not say psychic. I don't really know a word. It's more like I'm a medium,
Oh, okay, okay.
like kind of channeling yourself, your higher self, which has a different overview
Yeah, yeah.
and not this kind of box view we all get.
Yeah, 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 definitely.
It started really like about 30 years ago when I understood that for some reason I knew crystals and their vibration and how they can help us. So I started with energy rebalancing
Mm,
with the help of crystals.
mhm,
And when I was in the Himalayas, I came across the book of Thoth, the tarot,
mhm,
and I was intrigued. It's like, wow, this is amazing.
mhm.
And I started learning that and starting giving readings, but it didn't quite work for me. And then one day it just came. Use crystals. And then I first tried, this is so, I tried like I remember oracles from the past. I had a crystal ball and they saw everything in the crystal ball. So I tried that. Didn't work. So I was like, what am I going to do? And then this vision came. Have an array of crystals. Let people pick one. Take it in your hand and start talking. Start being present. I, oh God. Sometimes English is a little bit difficult.
Oh, I can relate. I
In the
can
beginning,
relate. Hmm.
so in the beginning, I connect with permission energetically with that person
Hmm.
because I also like able to different energy with energies.
Hmm.
Just a medium for your highest really what you need to hear in order to be the person you wanted to be before you came here. And yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but so like for 30 years, I'm doing this now, including coaching. And yeah, it's just amazing to see. It's
Yeah.
wonderful. This is I have. That's what I'm here for.
Hmm.
Giving an example that life can be just absolutely fantastic. and then, and then we can be ourselves, even though living in society,
Hmm.
not conforming, being myself, it's absolutely possible. And bringing people into that space is my passion. That's
Yeah.
what I love to do.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. So what would you say sets you apart from other spiritual coaches? Because there's a lot of them and they specialize in many, many different areas and what they do.
Oh, what sets me apart? Well, I'm not really familiar with many other coaches, to tell you the truth.
Hmm.
And we are all different. And maybe what sets me apart is I'm not telling you the future
Mm.
because that is something absolutely impossible to predict because everything depends on the next 10 seconds. What decision do I make?
Yeah.
How do I relate now? What am I doing now? So telling you that in blah 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 years or you will find the partner then or this or that, it's not happening. And I'm just being in the present,
Hmm.
present and showing you what is important for you now. And then everything depends on, do you do the steps? Do you try out these meditation or these awareness exercises or whatever comes out? So, and maybe that's also important. I don't know anything. I have no clue. I hardly have a clue about myself, not to talk about somebody else. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but being connected with the person energetically, I'm basically just a medium for you. And so,
Mm-hmm.
even though sometimes my mind goes, can't say that. What are you saying? I know it's always right because I see the response and the reaction. So it's like I'm stepping aside I'm not present, or the Vinaya is not there.
Yeah.
And I'm just being human for you. And maybe that sets me aside. You don't know.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, thank you for sharing. You use the word medium. How do you connect and work with people? Let's say you have a
Yeah.
client. Do you pick a crystal? Do you connect with their aura, their energy? What is the process and how do you do it?
Well, I have a little intonation in the beginning. I ask permission to connect energetically.
Hmm.
And then I visualize from my solar plexus, not solar plexus, from my belly, from my hara,
Hmm.
I visualize an energetic beam towards the hara of the other person, to the belly,
Hmm.
and ask permission from their spirit guides and spirit helpers to be a channel and a guide to convey what needs to be conveyed for the highest good and benefit of all. And then I get a yes, and then I let the person pick the crystal. I'm not picking the crystal. So I have like 15 or 20 crystals. I don't actually know. It's about 20 crystals in front of me. And when I do that online, they have a picture from my website
Hmm.
and they pick a crystal. I take it in my hand and I just start talking.
Hmm.
And at the end, I thank the spirit guides and spirit helpers and disconnect now. And then I visualize that connection just dissolves
Hmm.
so that we are both free then again
Hmm.
and live our lives the way we are supposed to live it, or we envisioned to live it.
Hmm.
There's no supposed.
Hmm. Yeah, thank you.
Does that
So
answer the question?
it does. Yeah. Yeah, thank you for answering. So do all of us have guides and why do we need guides?
Um, yes, we all do have guides. We are not necessarily aware of that. Sort of a spirit family. And being aware of that or not doesn't really matter because they are there. And they communicate with us through what I call intuition or gut feeling or heart feeling. We get messages. We suddenly know.
Yeah.
The habit have as though we don't listen necessarily.
Yeah.
We,
Yeah.
is that group of people or beings, they're not people, those who speak, to grow, to become aware, to experience being in the body. And they have a different overview because they're, like I said, they're not in this box which we get into when we grow up and get all the norms and rules of society and religion and all of that,
Hmm.
which has nothing to do with us because we are all unique. Nobody fits in a box.
Hmm.
We try very hard to be there with the result that our life is slightly miserable
Hmm.
because we are not living our life according to our goal, to our intention before we came here. And yes, we all have these beings hovering around us.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
call them sometimes ancestors and people call them angels, and there's different names of it.
Hmm.
So I just call them spirit guides, spirit helpers, spirit doctors,
Hmm.
all those who work for the highest good and benefit of all.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And it works. And like all this thing is like really for my mind, I can't really understand it
Hmm.
logically because the mind is not made for this otherworldly energy.
Hmm.
It's made for this world. How to repair a car, how to follow instructions for a recipe or what.
Hmm.
But it's not made for seeing energies, being present. That's not the mind. So out of experience, I know it's always right because I
Hmm.
see the response of the people. And it's like, yeah, wow.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it doesn't come from me, it comes from their higher self
Hmm.
and or their spirit guides and spirit helpers. It's like I can't really explain it because the mind is not made for this. It's not
Hmm.
happening.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I know it's true.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for sharing. So what is the life path? Do all of us have one?
Yeah.
If so, how do we find it and follow it? Because it's very hard. There's a lot of distractions
Yes.
from what we need to do.
Yes. We all do have a path. We are all here for some reason.
Hmm.
And there are different theories about it, like karma. I did something bad last life. So now I need to experience the opposite of that. Like I killed somebody, now I need to be killed, or all these stories. They fly around. What is really true is that I come here for a specific reason,
Hmm.
and that's individually different. Many of us just come here to really experience the pain, the joy, life.
Yeah.
Some come here to help and be an example that life is not necessarily a drudgery or pain or misery.
Hmm.
And how do we get there? With the help of people like me, to be get more aware of what is really my path.
Yeah.
And most of all, actually all of us know it, but it's buried. It's put away. No, you can't be like this. No, you can't do this. You have to be like this or like that,
Mm.
which doesn't work because we are all individuals and we all have a different path.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, with the help of people who have a different insight, we can get more clear about that. And I see that often in meetings when this comes out, what is your gift? And, oh, yeah, I know. Yeah. But I
Hmm.
think I'm crazy. I'm not good enough, or this or that. And then we work on getting rid of all these ideas and stories
Hmm.
we got programmed with.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then bit by bit is like, ah, yes,
Hmm.
that's what I'm here for. Ah, yes, I understand. Because I actually already know. And for most of the people, the easiest way is actually to listen to your heart and to your intuition.
Mm.
It's always there, no matter what kind of story we are living in, but we are not listening. So, learning how to hear that little voice in the background, or the feeling, or the vision, or what,
Hmm.
and having the courage to go against the mind, because the mind always has arguments against.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't want us to be free. The mind wants problems so it can solve the problems, and
Hmm.
then it makes another problem. And so that's the job of the mind, solving problems.
Hmm.
And in the end, there are no problems.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Life is just fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. In your own words, how would you define intuition? Because we all experience it differently, feel it
Yeah.
differently, and express it differently.
Yes. How would I define it? It's an experience which is different for everybody. Like you said, some people have a vision, suddenly they see pictures, or they have dreams, or there's suddenly a feeling, or there's suddenly a knowing.
Hmm.
And that voice is very much in the background. It's very fine because we are not taught to listen to that. We are taught to listen to the mind. Yeah, the mind is always right. For me, the mind is always wrong. So learning to listen,
Hmm.
it's a, it's like a school, the school of earth,
Hmm.
where we have to go back to our beingness
Yeah.
and feel. And one rule I always have is like the very, very first thing which comes. either as a vision or as a feeling or as a knowing or what, that is your intuition. That is your gut feeling. That is the heart. And these things really know. The mind doesn't.
Mm.
Like an example, I went with a motorbike to town, and I always put my key to my belt, period.
Mhm.
For some reason, that morning, I was going to put it on my back. And instantly, I knew, no, that's not a good idea. And a split second later, my mind goes, what's the problem? You always take care of your bag. You never let it, you always have your bag on you. No problem. Okay, cool. I put my keys on the bag. An hour later, the bag was full with shopping. A friend went home, which was like 5 miles away. Said, hey, can you take my bag? Right.
Mm.
I was in town with my motorbike and the keys were at home. It's always right. We just have to learn to listen to this first thing, very faint voice,
Mhm.
and then understanding that the mind comes in and argues.
Mhm.
No, it's okay, or no, no worries, or whatever.
Mhm.
That to disregard is an exercise again. But when we start listening and following our heart, our feeling,
Mhm. Yeah.
we learn that that is always right.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
the head is pretty much always wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. But somehow though the heart and the mind, they're connected. You've heard of the saying when people say follow your heart. So the
Hmm.
heart does know what it wants and it speaks. I know the language they speak are similar, but different. How do we
Yeah.
listen to the heart and not always the mind? And when do we know what is speaking?
Okay, if we are not really able to hear that little voice, there is a nice exercise which I found really helpful. For example, suddenly it comes to my mind, I want a coffee.
Mhm.
Cool. So I go automatically and have a coffee. As an exercise, I suggest, oh, okay, I want a coffee. So you stop. You become conscious of your breath, how it goes in and out, which brings you out of your mind and boom into the present. And then you go hard. I'm drinking a coffee right now. How does that feel? I get a feeling. If that's not clear, I breathe again. Hard. I'm not having a coffee right now. How does that feel? I have the answer. Suddenly, the intuition or something comes in and goes like, oh, you want to go to the disco tonight, or you want to go to Spain. I stop. Hard. I'm in Spain right now. How does it feel?
Mhm.
And I follow that,
Yeah.
no matter what the mind says. And again, maybe an example when I was like 21, 22, somewhat in that neighborhood, I really understood I'm not fitting. I need to get out of Germany. I need to find something else. I had no idea what. That was clear. And then suddenly it was like India came out of the blue. It was a strong feeling. India. It really pulled me. So I went to my parents and I go like, I'm going to India now. My mother goes, you can't do that. Why? Oh, you need to work, you need to, save for when you're old and do all these things I was supposed to do. For my mind, she was absolutely right.
Mhm.
And I knew I need to go. From then on, I basically just followed my heart because I experienced an amazing life going on this journey, looking for something, even though I had no real clue what I was looking for.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was clear I need to go. Never mind the logic, never mind the arguments of society and all of that.
Mhm.
And actually, my answer to my mother was like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do when I'm older. I will find out when I'm old. Right now, I need to go to India.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thanks for sharing. How long were you in India? What did you learn? And how did it change and impact your life today?
I was about 10 years in India,
Mm,
and the learning started when I started overland from Germany to India and seeing other cultures, suddenly realizing, yeah, wait, there are different ways of life. You can
mm,
do things way different. Every country had a different culture. So that was the first like impact. Wow. Yes, it doesn't need to be that box or this or this or this. I can choose where I feel right, where I feel good. And when I got to India, it was like coming home. And I was looking at many spiritual teachers and trying to find out somebody who knows. And then I came across one person who actually knew and experienced freedom, freedom from myself, I call that. And it was just, wow, yes, there is more to life than meets the eye. And then I started working on myself, doing groups and meditations, and bit by bit became more and more aware of who I really am. And my way was really to check off what I'm not. And then I learned some meditation exercises, including this breathing, which is amazing. It brings you instantly into the present when I'm conscious of my breath,
mhm,
which made me more and more aware that I am not the story. And that really changed my life. And suddenly I was out of the story.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I became the watcher, like the observer of Vinaya doing its number. And
Mm,
like right now, I can see myself sitting here and talking and moving and all of that. And the understanding, the deep freedom I got is that I have nothing to do with that. I am just awareness, observing what's going on inside this avatar I'm having, inside this body, inside this mind, all these stories. I can have a distance. I can observe that.
mhm,
I'm separate, and that gives you an amazing freedom
mhm.
because you're not caught in the story anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, yeah, India helped me a lot in the spirituality there. And yeah, my life is just amazing. Yes, there are some challenges sometimes or something which we could see as a problem. I just see it as an experience. And
Mhm.
there are no worries.
Yeah.
And there's abundance, there's freedom,
Mhm.
and I just flow with the wind.
Yeah.
Because what do I know? I'm here in my little brain
Yeah.
with these
Yeah.
things around my eyes, and I'm just looking in one direction. But when I'm in the observer space,
Mm,
everything is there. And then I can see where my life flow goes, and
mhm.
I follow that.
Yeah. 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 That's beautiful. It sounds like you having to experience other cultures with a humble heart has shaped you and helped you help other people as well. How significant and important do you think it is for everybody to, at one point in their life, learn from another culture and still be humble with knowing or not knowing? Sorry, that was a very long question.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember everything. Um, when I see people who live in the same place all their lives, and then I compare them with people who at least once went into a different culture with an open heart and an open mind. Not like I am right, my way is the only way, but no, I'm going to check out how other people live. That is amazing benefit, amazingly beneficial
Mm-hmm.
because it opens us up. Oh, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there are more ways to be on this planet, there are more ways to live, there are different ways to experience life. And when I see that and experience that, then I have the ability to check, is that culture or that place I'm at really beneficial for me? Or would like to live in a culture where there's, say, more freedom or a different kind of freedom? It depends on me. Some people go like, nah, I like my way or our way, the
Yeah.
German way or the American way or whatever way. And I can only make that decision if I experience at least one, preferably more than that,
Mm-hmm.
different cultures and different way of life. Not going there as a tourist, but like saying, okay, I check out Spain now and I'm going to stay there for a month or two to really immerse myself and feel it and see it and experience it. Because as a tourist, we just cruise around and check out the sightings and we are not really present in that culture.
Mm.
So it would be very beneficial to really hang out there for a while.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, then the argument comes, yeah, but I can't because I have to work and this and that and all these arguments.
Mm-hmm.
One of these funny German saying is, where there's a will, there's a way.
Mm.
And if I can look back on my life,
Mm-hmm.
like no matter how old I am, and really check, did that really fulfill me? Is that really what I want? Or is there something missing? Is there something more to it? Am I here for something more wow, bigger?
Mm-hmm.
And if the answer is yes, this was not really fulfilling,
Mm-hmm.
then it might be a good idea to say, okay, I tried for 40 years this way, it didn't quite work out.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's a good idea to try something else. And then I go on the search and find my place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, it would be
Yeah.
very beneficial to check out other people, to check out other ways of life.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's not only one way, there's a gazillion ways.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, there's not a gazillion countries and cultures, but we are all individuals. We are all different to a
Yeah.
certain degree. And we don't fit in a box.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I call it the human language. Even though we speak different languages, I think all of us are seeking and looking for a deeper meaning of why. What is the meaning of life? What am I here? How am I impacting people? And when I leave, how am I going to be remembered? And why? And who is going to remember me?
That is a box in my book too, because
Yeah.
unless I killed 2 million people, nobody will remember me in
Mm,
50 years. And it doesn't really matter.
mhm,
The only thing, at least in my book, what matters is, do I live a life according to myself,
mm,
according to me? Do I celebrate this life? Do I have a great time? Is that a wow adventure?
mhm,
Being in the present, for me, is the only reason why we live, why we are here. That's the school.
mhm,
Not being in the past, not being in the future. How am I going to be remembered? I don't care. It doesn't matter. For me, in this moment, it doesn't matter if in 5,000 years people remember Vinaya. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me because I'm not here anymore.
mm,
What matters to me is that, do I live
mhm,
before I die? Or do I
mm.
just
Yeah.
pull myself from the cradle to the grave?
Yeah. Would you say that you care about the impact that you're leaving people to learn from?
So you say that again?
Would you say that you care of the impact that you're leaving people of? I'm trying to reframe question so it's not in a box, but also understood, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
it's kind of both. In a certain way, it's not that I really care if I make an impact. I
Mm-hmm.
know I'm making an impact.
Ah, that makes sense now that you explain it that way. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the best way to explain it. It's
Yeah.
like, and actually, I don't care if the people follow the advice their spirit gives you. That's their story.
Mm-hmm.
I can only point the way,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
what they do with it or not is out of my power.
Yeah.
There's nothing, I cannot force anybody to do this specific meditation or become aware of this or that. No, I
Mm-hmm.
can just point out.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm hearing free will, which all of us have.
yes. Well,
Yeah.
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 Once we become aware, we have free will.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. So what
Not a,
advice would you have for someone like me or the younger generation? It's a big question.
yeah, and I could talk hours about that, but in a brief way, one thing I would love to say, which I think is really important,
Mm,
to really understand the following. Okay, make an exercise, look around you, look at all the insects and plants and people and the universe, the stars, everything.
mhm,
When you really look, you will see that everything fits together, has a place, and is absolutely perfect. The universe does not create anything which is not perfect.
mm,
Ergo, you are perfect. There is no need to do anything really besides becoming aware of yourself, accepting that you are perfect, understanding that your imperfectness comes out of my mind,
mm,
but it has nothing to do with you.
mm,
I think you need to be more blah, blah, blah. But the universe, no, created you the way you are. You
mm,
are absolutely perfect. Be
mm,
that. No judgment from other people can be taken. If
mhm.
you don't like me, okay, cool. Other people will like me. Doesn't matter. If you
That's
think
where I'm at.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you think I'm not perfect, I'm not doing a good enough job, or this or that,
Mm,
okay, that's your judgment. I'm
mhm,
doing the best I can out of my awareness, out of my beingness, and that
mhm.
is absolutely perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so beautiful. Thank you.
Don't put yourself down. That's from other people. The universe, who created you absolutely perfect.
Hmm. Hmm. Oh, I
Because it's
love
impossible
that.
that you're the only person in the universe who's not perfect. It's like, that's not.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So I
Is
would,
there, sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
so I would really like everybody to understand
Hmm.
that you are perfect. It's only the mind and other people who think you need to improve or what.
Hmm.
Drop it.
Mm.
God, the universe makes you perfect because everything is perfect.
Hmm.
To hammer that a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you for sharing. And I know that becoming the self, it is a very, very hard journey. Not only because at times we stand in our own way, it's the ways that we are programmed
Yes.
by society, by culture, by family, and it's hard. It's like
Yes.
looking for something very small in a haystack, or oh, if you will, that way. It's just very hard to find. So the becoming is hard, but I think it's worth it.
That's even better than there is for me because, like, ever since I took off to India, my life is absolutely fantastic. Just like,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
it's like this finding yourself and becoming aware. Yes, it is challenging because we have to let go of everything we think we are and know and go into the unknown.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it's like a seeking and questing. And again, if we follow our intuition, our heart, does that feel right?
Mm.
Uh, no.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going somewhere else. It takes courage, it takes determination,
Hmm.
and once you taste your being,
Hmm.
your wowness, suddenly you don't have a choice anymore. You have
Yeah.
because it gets juicier and juicier and more. Wow.
Hmm.
It's the only thing I can say. It's like, wow, it's an amazing experience.
Hmm.
And yes, we have to let go of everything we know because everything we know, if we have never asked ourselves, is that really me? Everything we know is not me.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm not a German. I'm not a man. I'm not this or that. I just am. And finding that is, yes, an interesting, hard, so to speak.
Hmm.
It's not really hard. It's just like having some courage and getting one time the taste of how it is to be.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I call it the taste of freedom. And it's not necessarily a freedom that someone gives us. It's the
No.
freedom that we give ourselves willingly
Yes.
with love.
Yes.
Hmm.
For
Hmm.
me, even though it's not my story, but I know even if I would be in jail,
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because it's inside. I know nothing can harm me. Well, me is a wrong word because that's associated with Vinaya. Nothing me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. And kill me or kill my body. I'm not affected by it. Or the being I am, the awareness I am is not affected by that.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
that knowingness also gives one an amazing amount of freedom because
Hmm.
then suddenly nothing matters. It's just an experience. It's just a journey on planet Earth, experiencing pain and pleasure and joy and misery.
Hmm.
If I become the watcher, and that's like the major thing I learned from my master was, okay, you see this bottle? Well, sort of.
Yeah, yeah, I see it now.
um, in order to see this bottle, I need to be separate outside this bottle in order to observe it, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
If I would be the bottle, I wouldn't be able to observe it. Make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. I can see, observe my body. I can observe my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I can observe my emotions. I'm separate from that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to observe it. Suddenly, I'm free. I have nothing to do with it. I'm the one who's sitting somewhere. I have no clue, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
And observe that. I'm aware of what's going on in this body, mind, emotions, world. I'm just sitting there watching a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly I'm free. Then it doesn't matter where I am and how things are around me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like an amazing difference if we get the taste of this watcherness. Like the best would be to say pain.
Mm-hmm.
Like my knee hurts because I fell down. So I have two choices. I can be identified with the pain. Oh, God damn, that hurts. Or I can go, I see this pain over there.
Mm-hmm.
Pain is still there, but somewhat I have nothing to do with it. Suddenly my body is totally relaxed. So I give the body the space to heal that.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly I'm not angry anymore. There is anger, but that's not me. I'm the one who's observing the anger. I get a distance. I'm free.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes away whenever it goes away. And the
Mm-hmm.
same goes for joy. So I'm not like holding on to it and trying to be like staying in the space. I'm already tense. I'm not in the present. I'm in the future.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not here. But if I just observe the joy, wow, what
Mm-hmm.
an experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Is there anything else we didn't talk about that you'd like to share as we wrap up this episode?
Well, what comes to mind again is this business of judgment,
Mm-hmm.
which is also something I really would or love to share very often because we have a judgmental mind. It's one of the best pastimes of our mind to judge,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Situations or people.
Mm-hmm.
I break my leg. Ah, that's a bad story. Well, actually, I don't know that. It might that because I broke my leg, I'm not in a different situation, which I would be maybe killed, or something else happens which is not aligned with my path. I really don't know. Oh, I have no money. That's really bad. Well, I don't know. I might need somebody who just gives me money or is with open arms and help me. And so the situations, I really don't know if this is good or bad. So
Mm-hmm.
when that comes out, it's a good idea to just take a breath and go, all right, I have no clue if it's good or bad. I just know I have a broken leg. That I know.
Mm-hmm.
For what purpose or why, I have no clue. And the same goes for judgments we do to people and people do to us. And I have a beautiful example for that, that we actually really do not know. So I was giving a meditation course,
Mm-hmm.
and since I lived in India for 10 years, and I really like to speak like this, Baba, because it is so cute that they have this nice voice.
Yeah.
I really love that. It's like just beautiful. So anyway, I probably said something like this in the way we did the meditation. I asked for feedback. There was an Indian person
Mm.
in the group. Holy shit. I'm a racist. I put him down. And like he was like fire. He was so angry that I did speak like this. He took it totally different than how it was for me. He
Mm.
judged me as a racist, as somebody who puts him down, and all the other things he told me I did wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know where the people are at. So become aware of judgment. Take a breath in. I don't know. I judge this person to be really angry and bad, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe that person just had a really bad moment and is really in a different space and normally is not in that space. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but I judge the person in this moment, and usually I'm wrong. So, becoming aware of judgment, I would love everybody to become more aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
And really, I don't know. I just know that in this moment, it looks like this.
Mm-hmm.
In
Mm-hmm.
this moment, I have a broken leg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Thanks for sharing. Thank you. Yeah. Where can people find you if they want to work with you?
My website, psychiccrystalreadings.com,
Mm-hmm.
would be the easiest way. There's a contact page, and my offerings are there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just give me a holler, and we have an initial talk and see if we resonate and
Mm-hmm.
if it would be beneficial to go deeper. And
Yeah.
yeah, my website would be the easiest way to contact me.
All right.
And I can give
Awesome.
you email and WhatsApp and all of that stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
the website is easiest, I think.
Okay, sounds good. Well, Vinaya, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today, for sharing your journey, expertise, and this was a very good conversation. And I hope everyone who's watching or listening, they somehow resonate or benefit from it. So thank you.
Thank you so much and have a wonderful moment every moment.
Thank you. Thank you.